Alright guys, so it's been a little bit since I've done a basement tour, and I've done some things since then. I've got my Rudy jersey, my Dante Hall signed jersey, both of them are signed. David Freese signed jersey, my Pietrangelo over here. Oh, I'll go down that thing here. And then I got some jerseys for the blank walls here, but I haven't framed them yet. That's coming probably next week. Anyway, there's my Freeze jersey. And then I got, of course, David Freese and old Bobby Gibson, 11 World Series. And then I can't have a signed Blues jersey with some Stanley Cup champs on it, and then a Freeze jersey without having a thing to blend them together. So I thought that picture was really neat. Then, of course, my signed Braden Shin hockey stick. Then I've got some stuff on that shelf just to kind of fill in that space. Lots of games here. I got Super Nintendo, DS, 3DS, Super Famicom, 64. Down here I've got Nintendo Switch and a few other little things. Over here I've got Wii U, GameCube, Xbox 360, old school Game Boy, that kind of stuff. And then we pan over this away. I got my two Cardinals pennants there. I got my theater style seating. My dog, per the usual, she's always in here. My Pride and Joys over here. So got the Power Glove, and I've got Virtual Boy, and then all my signed games by people who do voices. My all-time favorite game, CIB, right there, Zombies Ate My Neighbors. Another one of my favorites, Little Nemo Dream Master back there. Of course, behind there, the Stanley Cup champs back there, back from 2019. And then I've got Yachty and Albert's last game together. And then, of course, I got Sega and Sega Master System there. PS5 and a little bit of PS3, PSP. And then original PlayStation right here. Over here I've got Sega Saturn, Sega Dreamcast, and then of course Game Gear. Over here PS4 all the way through there. And then down here I've got Neo Geo Pocket, and then some Wonder Swan games. And then down here I've got Xbox One, I've got Atari, I've got ColecoVision, Neo Geo, I've got everything down here. And then, of course, some more PS3, more PlayStation 2, and then down below there, some more Atari 2600, and so on and so on. That's where I charge my controllers. Got some really cool coasters here. Sorry, my table's dusty. I just realized it. Got Chocobos and Mario. He was upside down. Sonic. And then Cloud from Final Fantasy, GameCube, and all kinds of other cool ones. There's Cloud. And then that's where my bass sits for my surround sound. And then, let's just go ahead and pan back this way real quick. I've got, like I said, my Pietrangelo right up there. I moved my Chiefs necklace over here. I've got the 05 Cardinals, the year before they won in 06. Still, a lot of those guys were on the 06 team. And then I've got the 34 World Series champs right there. Signed Stan Musial painting, Stan the Man, Hall of Fame of 69. Signed it right there. That's pretty cool. And then over here I've got pictures of teams my kiddos played on that I coached. And then my Marcus Allen signed Hall of Fame helmet. Mine and Cameron's first time at Notre Dame in a cool little 3D stadium. I know it's kind of hard to see, but it's a 3D stadium. My signed Joe Montana Chiefs helmet, his signature's right there. You probably see it better like that. Christian Okoye, the Nigerian Nightmare. Of course, the 41 Cardinals World Series champions. 41-42, sorry. And then, let's see, the 2013 NL Championship trophy. And then up here, my NES pursuit is really starting to expand. As you can see, there's a lot of NES games here. And then I've got a Game Genie up there on top of it. And then Super Glove Ball, because I'm going to move these down probably to here. So I think I can make more space and then move that stuff up there. And then down here, a couple of the Super Bowl collages from the Chiefs' recent Super Bowls. Their first one with Mahomes, and then their second one, and then around this corner here, their third one. I was really hoping to add that one last year, but the Eagles really put it to them, so that didn't work out very well. And then my wife got me that cool little surfboard from Cozumel, I believe is where it was. Yeah, Cozumel. And then over here is kind of like my office where I get stuff done. If I'm not at school working, I'm working here. And Kansas City Chiefs, oh gosh, this Foco Lego set helmet. This thing was probably one of the hardest things I've ever put together. And I used to work on heavy equipment, just FYI. But this thing was so tiny. Those pieces are so little. I don't know if it shows you how big it is. I mean, that's my fingernail, and that's how small those pieces are. So all of those are little tiny pieces. And then, of course, my Chiefs cup. And those all sit on top of my Travis Kelce signed Chiefs helmet, full size. And then, of course, I have my little mini fridge with fun magnets, video game magnets, places I've been, stuff like that. Cozumel Chiefs hat. I thought that was neat. Stacy got me this thing. It's a little ring toss table game. Use it usually for taking shots or something in the summertime. And then, so I painted it. It was just all wood. So I painted it Notre Dame colors and then put some Notre Dame emblems on it. Thought that was pretty cool. And then, of course, you got Cardinals stuff everywhere. I got my Chiefs mouse pad and keyboard pad. My 3 screens back behind here. I've got, Mickey Smith, you're so awesome. Got me that. And I hung it up. And then right here, a couple things. That's my first coaching job I ever did. I coached some little kids soccer, and that's signed by all the kids. That was back when I was in Okinawa, Japan as a Marine. Got my Play Like a Champion sign. Can't be a Notre Dame fan, not have one of those. And then, of course, some little Cardinals memorabilia, Blues memorabilia, things like that. I got this really awesome light-up Cardinals clock from my buddy Dustin Hawkins' mom. Thank you for that again. It's so cool. And then in the Fighting Irish parking only up here on top of my signed Joe Notre Dame jersey. I've got a lot of Joe or Notre Dame memorabilia. So I've got a sealed Rudy VHS. I've got his 49ers card. And then just some fun Notre Dame stuff. And then, of course, his Notre Dame Joe Montana Christmas ornament. And then down below that, I've got a couple of the Dynasty books, championship books that I've gotten from the Chiefs Super Bowl. One of those were sent to me by Ben. Super awesome. Appreciate you, Ben. Then, of course, there's Will's orientation to Mizzou here soon on my tidbit. You'll see kind of it also does scores and highlights and weather and stuff like that. It's one of the coolest things. I got this for Christmas 2 years ago, and I update that thing every day. It kind of keeps me on track, and it's also really cool to see scores like that, which ain't great. Ugh. And then who they're playing next and stuff like that. It's really cool. And then, of course, St. Louis Sports Memories, which is a really cool little book. And then moving on over here, I've got some Sports Illustrateds from the Cardinals World Series Championships in 06 and 11. And then my Chiefs Kingdom flag, Dizzy and Daffy Dean, or Dizzy and Paul if you want. It's Dizzy and Daffy by what they go by. They were part of the Gas House Gang with Joe Medwig and so on. And then you got Stam Musial. And then up above that, I've got the replay of the 2011 Cardinals World Series Championship. And then that's on a screen that I've got mounted there. Another Sports Illustrated magazine. And then, of course, all right, so I've got a catch-all shelf with Kelce mix. Then I've got some of the Blues or Chiefs Budweiser championship bottles. A signed Tony Gonzalez Chiefs helmet, which someday I'm going to put a case on. Then my time at the Field of Dreams, which was really cool. It was kind of like a bucket list item to go play catch with my kids at the Field of Dreams, and I got to, and that was really neat. I've actually got some dirt from it from down here. And then, of course, some more Cardinals World Series stuff, and then Cardinals finger from the games. Now, this is my Chiefs shelf. It's all from their Super Bowls or from Mahomes and Kelce. So I've got Kelce Crunch and Mahomes Magic Crunch, and then I've got Derek Thomas back there, a whole collage of him. I've got the Chiefs Super Bowl Crown Royal right here, also sent from Ben. My mom's first Chiefs game, I took her to a Chiefs game this year, and she's always wanted to go. And so I took her and got her that. And then I got a really old, what they called Monsters of the Gridiron, Derek Thomas card that Aunt Pam gave me. And then it's just the Chiefs Super Bowl, first one they won since the fourth Super Bowl. Underneath each one of these is a newspaper from each Super Bowl championship. I've got each hat from their Super Bowl championships and so on. There's like a flag under here and a little Chiefs emblem here. And then I've got something one of my students made for me up here. And then the next shelf is from the 2019 Blues, their Stanley Cup championship, obviously their hat, which needs a little bit of dusting here. I just realized that. Got it cleaned up. I got their Post-Dispatch and a ticket to a Blues playoff game and an Oshie puck. And that was the playoff game I went to there. And then I've got the big rig, Pat Maroon. And then I've got, of course, you can't have a Stanley Cup championship shelf without Benny. And then, that's pretty much it there. And then the next shelf is just Cardinals. Those 11 World Series newspaper, Alan Craig signed card, Dakota Hudson signed card, Ozzie Smith signed card, Matt Carpenter signed card, Benji Molina signed card, Kerry Robinson signed card, Mike Crudell, all these are signed, Pat Perry, who we got here, Mitch Harris, Scott Cooper, and then we've got a whole bunch of other really good cards right here, and then that hat right there is also signed by Kerry Robinson. I think I can turn it so you can kind of see it. It's signed somewhere up there, maybe. Try not to knock anything down. There it is on that side. I got a Cardinals history book up there. Larry Walker bobblehead. Alec Burleson. I got, you can see this one right here is really cool. It says Ted Simmons bobblehead. And then got a couple signed baseballs. I got a David Freese signed baseball. And then I've got Red Shandies back there. Then I've got the foul ball that we caught. That's a ball signed by Benji Molina. And then that's our Field of Dreams ball that we played catch with. And then, of course, there's some Field of Dreams dirt in that little container right there. And then below that was my first Notre Dame game. I got the certificate from the first game. Actually going to it. The playbook. Not the playbook, but the program for the game. And sorry for the music for the arcade right here. And then some stuff from the game. And then their record from that year. What'll run this year? I mean, this was this year when they lost to Ohio State in the championship game. And then the Chiefs training camp sign down there. And then I've got a arcade 1-up cabinet that used to just be for Street Fighter. And it was a 2-player cabinet, and I modified it, and I put 4 controllers on there now, and you can play like 6,000 games on here and stuff like that. And as you can see, I got Mike Tyson's Punch-Out playing right now. And then we'll come back over there in just a minute. I've got my St. Louis City Ben Ho soccer game. It's so much fun. You can see all the thump marks from where we thump the ball back and forth. We play it all the time. My Notre Dame, it's actually just original poker table, and I modified it and put a blue vinyl on there and the Notre Dame emblem in the middle, and then right here is a Stan Musial roll the dice baseball game. And then I took some chairs that used to be a part of our old kitchen table that were disgusting because I have kids, and I reupholstered them, and I made them Blues chairs, so they kind of go in here. All my chairs have it. If you go around, all of them have it. This one over here has it as well. And then going over this way, I've got a Famicom Rob the Robot with his set that goes with him. Zapper CIB in the box, a Famicom, Japanese Famicom, the original CIB in the box, but the Famicom is actually down here. I'll show you that in a minute. And let's see, Shadow, which was one of my kids, they gave that to me, and then PSP in the box, which the PSP is actually out of the box right now, but everything else is in there. And then let's see, a Master System, CIB, ColecoVision, CIB, and then a couple of retro game systems that you can actually play different games on. Then I've got the Donkey Kong for the GameCube, the bongos, Donkey Konga 2. And then this dude right here, such a great collection. I got this at Retro Rick's Retrofest Arkansas last year in a auction. Me and this guy were back and forth, and I called my wife in the middle of it and said, "Hey, is it cool if I go up?" And she said, "Yeah." So I got it, and I ended up winning it, and for way less than what it's worth. It's worth a lot more than I paid by a long shot. And then right here is a PlayStation Portal right here. It's technically a handheld, so it really belongs over here with my handhelds, but I gotta find a spot for it right now. And then down here, let's see, we've got PS2, PS3, the Tower of Power right here with the Genesis, the Sega CD, and the 32X. I got my PlayStation controllers also sitting right there for each PlayStation. But then I have wireless Sega Genesis controllers. Then I've got a Turbo Graphics right here. And then next to that is a 3DO, Panasonic 3DO. And then down here is an Xbox, the OG. There's that Famicom that goes to the box here. I pulled it out so it could be on display. And then below that is an Xbox One. And then over here, Atari 2600, the Wii U, a Tandy Vision, which is the Radio Shack version of, oh my gosh, brain just shut off. Anyway, we'll come back to that in a minute. And then CIB, PS5, a couple of controllers that I showed you over there, the controller dock, Nintendo Switch, OLED. The underneath here is the Split Pad Pro that I use. There's my Wonder Swan and my Game & Watch, and then next to that, or behind that, is my Superboy. Here is my PS5, completely modded. I don't have it on right now, but there's some lights inside here that turn on, LED lights you'll be able to see on the sides here. But I took the white coverings off and put two really shiny green vented covers on both sides to help it breathe better. Love every second of it. And then all my handhelds, everything from PSP, PS Vita, 3DS XL, DSi, Game Boy Micro, 2DS, Game Boy Colors, two of them. This one's been modded. This one's really cool. And then, let's see, Game Boy Advance, Game Boy Advance SP, Game Boy Pocket, the OG Game Boy. There's that Neo Geo Pocket, Color, Superboy, Sega Nomad, super awesome find here. Love this. The blue Game Gear, both work very well. The only thing about this is the battery pack is dead, so you have to keep it plugged in, but one day I'll modify that. And then Atari Lynx, also, all of these work. Everything works really, really well. And then down below that, let's see. Sorry, guys, I got, like, allergies today. Anyway, then I got the NES right here, and then down below that is the Japanese Sharp Famicom. You can have the floppy drive right here, as well as the Famicom discs that go in there. And then I've got the Super Nintendo. Then down below that is the Sega Saturn. And then the Nintendo 64 with a wireless controller. My favorite system of all time, the Sega Dreamcast. Then a GameCube with the wireless controller. PlayStation 1. And then right here I've got the Wii. The Nintendo Switch OLED, which looks a little wonky right now. We'll have to fix that. And then below that is a PS4 with the VR, and then next to that is the Xbox 360. And then, let's see, all of those are games or controllers or adapters or something like that. Up here, as you see, Bionic Commando playing in the background, I've got my soundbar for my surround sound. My surround sound goes right there as well, and goes right here. That's my bedroom there. But anyways, this room is literally such a cool little hangout spot for myself, and I love collecting and building up my collection and hanging up all my signed jerseys and stuff. And like I said, just today alone, I hung up that one right up there, that Rudy jersey. And then I've got right now 3 more plus more I'm going to get before the end of summer to hang here, and then a few more right here. I've got a Jim Edmonds, a Emmett Thomas, a Tony Richardson, and then hopefully have a Brett Hall and a Chris Carpenter before the end of summer, because they're coming to a Boys Dream Hobby Shop. So that'll be really cool. And then I'm going to continue with my NES collection. It's really, really coming along. I've got some really great titles up here. So if you're a retro collector, you would probably enjoy seeing this. But it's getting to the point now where I see a lot of repeat games, so now I'm gonna have to like do a lot more shopping around because I'm running out of different titles to find. But anyways, and then like I said, I've got my theater style seating with my dog obviously asleep right here, and then these have lights on them on the controllers on all of the seats there, and automatic recliners. And then this guy is just it's got the lights on it, and this comes down, and I have a couple cup holders and a wireless charger and some outlets and stuff, so it's really cool. But that is my room, and well, not my room, but my basement. So what a cool little collection that's steadily growing. And I can't wait to see what it looks like by the end of summer. So like I said, I've got so many more jerseys to hang. Oh, forgot to show you my David Freese bobblehead and my Adam Wainwright bobblehead sitting right up here above Gibby. The pitching rubber for Bob Gibson. And then, like I said, look, it's way up there. I had to have Will climb up there on an extension ladder in order to get that up there. But it's up there. So don't worry, it's very securely up there. And then, yeah, so hopefully it'll continue to grow. So that's about it. I guess my dog needs to say goodbye. She doesn't care. She's sleepy. So, all right. And then eventually, got a couple things I want to tell you I was going to do. This is a really cool photo, and this is because we live on a lake, but I think this is going to come down, and I'm going to mount another TV right there, but over here. So I can have multiple TVs going. In case there's two games I want to watch at the same time, or, you know, maybe I want to have music videos playing on one or something else. But anyway, very, very cool. Sorry about the arcade continuing to repeat Mike Tyson's Punch-Out over there. So anyways, thanks for the tour of the room with me, and see you next time.